Happy Wednesday or Thursday or whatever day you are listening to this podcast. This is the Mental Dietitian Podcast. I'm your host, Ahren Lynch-potter. I'm a little bit sick today. I'll just I can feel it. I woke up from a train waking me up at 3 a.m. last night, and I knew I was sick, so I'm going to do my best here today, guys. First of all, I just wanted to say this month is going to be the biggest amount of downloads that I've ever had on the show. So thank you for all of you who are sharing the podcast with other people, downloading the podcast. It's really blowing up right now, which is really exciting. So if you get value from this podcast, please share it with somebody. I really appreciate it. It's something that I really appreciate doing, and I'm really grateful doing, and I want to do more of it, and it'd be cool to make a living out of it one day. So thank you. So I've been doing a course recently. It's called Being True to You. It's a 6-month-long course where I'm learning how to become a psychedelic integration coach, or another way of putting it is a transformational recovery coach. So I'm learning a lot about addictions. I'm learning a lot about how to communicate with people. It's fascinating learning about all these different things. But there's something that I have heard before and I did not understand it, which I'm going to share with you today. And that is the fact that nobody can make you feel anything. How many times have you heard or even said yourself, I know I have, oh, he made me angry. He made me sad. This guy just makes me frustrated. This guy makes me angry. This guy does this, does that. In this course that I'm learning about, this guy was like, nobody can make you feel anything. Somebody can do something and then you feel, but has nothing to do with them. Your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions are your responsibility. Nobody else's. Nobody can make you feel anything. And I've heard it before, but it wasn't till I started doing this course that I really understood that. And I see it every day. I see it every day, everywhere I go. People are like, oh, you made me angry, man. It's like, no, I didn't. You made yourself angry. Something that I said triggered something in you where you became angry. Anger came out of you. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't create it. Your emotions and your feelings are your responsibility. If people could just understand that, think about how different the world would be. It's like, oh, why did you hit that little boy? 2 little boys, they're fighting. Why'd you hit him? Oh, he made me angry. It's like, oh, why did you make him angry? It's like, it's such a mind-blowing perspective, and it's so simple, and yet so many people forget, especially when we get triggered, especially when something comes up that brings up feelings of sadness, brings up feelings of anger, the more unpleasant emotions that a lot of us don't like expressing because they don't feel good. And it's just such an amazing concept that even if you just turn the podcast off right now and just sat with that and be like, okay, where in my life am I doing this? Where am I basically catapulting and projecting emotions onto people that are not theirs? I did it for years. I'm like, oh, my dad or my mom or whatever made me angry. And it's very freeing knowing that nobody can make you feel or do anything. Now, are there areas of your life where you might feel a certain way and act a certain way? For example, say you're in a job where you have an abusive manager, or say you're somewhere that you can't be yourself. I've felt that before. I've felt that a lot before, where there's certain things that are said or certain things that are done in certain environments that bring up feelings of anger. The hard part is, it's like, well, that person might be saying very bad things or being racist or homophobic or whatever it may be. And it might bring up feelings of anger within you, but that person did not make you angry. That's a perfect example of it. Somebody says something that you really disagree with, like violently disagree with, and feelings of anger come up within you. That person didn't make them come up in you. You created them yourself, which is good news, because it's like, well, if I create all my own emotions within myself, because nobody else created them, like where else does it come from? I can't just be like, oh, this is how I feel, and all of a sudden click my fingers and you understand how I feel. That's another thing that we're learning about, is that when somebody's communicating to you how you feel, a lot of people, and I did this for years, I would listen to what they said, and I thought I was helping them by sharing a story that relates to what they just said that maybe happened to me. Do you know what I just did? I'm not relating. I'm not helping them. What I just did is I just made it about me. What do I mean by that? We did an exercise the other day in this course where the question was, what is something that you are anxious about in the future? And this person said, oh, I'm anxious. I just left my job. I've been here for 20 years. It's not aligned with me anymore. And I'm anxious about what's going to happen in the future. And our job in this course was to outline what they said. Like, I heard it when you said this, and you said that you wanted to leave your job, and I felt this. And just to say that was it. To outline what the person said, and then try to communicate what you felt when they said what they said. The first person that responded to that, they said, I totally understand how you feel, which is obviously they have no idea, because you can never understand how somebody feels. You can imagine in your mind how they feel and be like, oh, that's probably how they feel. But it's not how they feel, because you're not them. This person said, I can understand how you feel. I am currently going through the same thing, and I am about to leave my job of 10 years that doesn't feel aligned for me too. And the person who was facilitating this workshop they were in was like, hey, I just want you to stop there. Do you notice that you said that you understand how they feel, and then you made it about yourself? And it was very interesting to see. And then the next person went and they said, when you said that about wanting to leave your job, I felt a tightness in my chest and I felt scared. That's all they said. That's it. They didn't give them advice. They didn't give them a solution. They didn't give them anything. We did this workshop for about an hour to an hour and a half, and each people took their turn. And eventually it came to me, and I shared something that was very vulnerable about myself, something that I'm scared of. And the person who was facilitating this workshop was like, I want you, whoever, if you're sharing something vulnerable about yourself, about something you're afraid of, you're scared of about the future, I want you, when everybody is having their turn of being like, Ahren, I heard you are scared about this, this, this. And when you said that, I felt angry or frustrated, or I felt trapped, whatever it may be. And the guy was like, I want you to take account of how it feels within your body. Because there's our mind, which processes things, but then there's our body. So I felt a tightness in my chest when people be like, oh, I felt angry or sad. They're communicating to me how they feel. They're not communicating what they think I feel. They're just sharing how what I said brought up feelings with them, the feelings that came up when they heard what I said. And the difference between the people that said, oh, I understand how you feel, and the difference between of people just communicating how they felt about my said and what it what it did in my body was crazy. The people that said, I understand how you feel, this happened to me too, I did not feel connected to them at all. I didn't know it from an intellectual standpoint, but within my body, I didn't feel anything. There's no feelings there. I was like, okay, cool, good for you. The people that said, Ahren, when you said this, I felt very sad. What it did within my body is I felt the sadness within myself, and I felt more connected to them because we were both feeling what we both thought was sadness, but our own versions of it. That exercise has blown my mind. Even the way that I communicate with Lexi, the way that I communicate with people in general, is if I hear somebody say something about how they feel, instead of being like, oh yeah, me too, happened to me too. I can't say that. I can't say that that's happened to me too, because how the fuck do I know exactly how they feel? I'm not them. I'm me. I have my own emotions, my thoughts, my feelings. They're all my responsibility. And I cannot ever know what somebody else's feelings are, exactly how they feel it. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. Because this concept can help you in every relationship in your life, especially if you're in a close relationship with a spouse, wife, husband, whoever. If you are both in a spot where somebody's angry, somebody's triggered, and all you say is like, hey, I heard what you said, and I feel a lot of shame and guilt because of how I just treated you. You're not saying, well, you said that and I got angry and you made me angry. I've tried it. I've tried it already. And it was like magic. It was magic. It was crazy. I was like, whoa, I didn't give her any solutions. I didn't give her any advice. Nothing. I just said, hey, this is how I feel based on what you just said. That's it. And what it does is it helps people feel connected, especially women. A lot of women want to just be heard and listened to. But men, we have solutions for everything. Oh, I'm just not happy about my body. Well, babe, like we could dial this in, we could get our diet back in check, we could stop going out for eating out so much, we could get this gym membership. They don't want that. They never asked you for advice. The funny thing is about men, if a man says that to another man, he kind of is asking for advice usually, a lot of the time, because that's a lot of how our male brains are wired. We are wired to fix things and solve problems and get it done. And I know people, and it was me for years, like Lexi would be feeling a certain way, and all she would want me to do is to listen. Not give any solutions, not give any advice, just listen. And if she did want advice or a solution, she would ask me. But what I did for years, and what you have probably done, men that are listening to this, and probably still do it, and I do it from now time to time, I'm not perfect, but what I would do is I would provide a solution to the problem. I'm like, cool, it's all fixed. There you go. There's a solution. I would come up with this elaborate plan about how they can get out of their situation or fix whatever's going on emotionally with inside themselves, when that's not what they wanted. They didn't ask for that. So this concept of nobody can make you feel anything, and that your feelings, your thoughts, everything that you feel, every emotion that comes over you, every thought that comes is actually your responsibility. It has nothing to do with anybody else. That's true freedom right there. That's where you have freedom over yourself. Nobody else controls anything about your inner world but you. And as soon as you take that responsibility for yourself, you have a lot of power, a lot of freedom. Nobody else is controlling your emotions. Nobody else is controlling how you feel. And if you get that dialed in, boy, oh boy, it'll change everything. So Hope you enjoyed this podcast. It's a short one. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a great concept. Love you guys. Keep sharing the show. And I'm excited for the future with you guys. Love you. Bye.